Hello, tea friends. With the inception of our new seasonal books that are coming out 4 times a year, we thought we would work together with our Qigong teacher and TCM doctor, Dave Meladu, to create some tea and herbal blends that can help harmonize us with each of the seasons. And we've started with this spring edition, and we've created this herbal blend called Dragon Rising. It's really beautiful. We took a long time in making it, and I've been drinking it every day since the spring began, and it really is effective and very beautiful. It's a blend of white chrysanthemum, yellow chrysanthemum, goji, green tangerine peel, in other words, unripened tangerine peel, mint, and a really special green tea.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the herbal formula that Buddha and I collaborated on, called Dragon Rising. We created this formula to give you something to help your body to come into sync with the seasons. As the weather warms up and we move into the spring season, we wanted to help you be able to adjust to this warming weather and help your body stimulate some of these functions that are necessary for good health in the springtime. So one of the main organs that we talk about in the spring or in relation to the spring is the liver. So many of the herbs we selected are centered around liver function. So one of the things that the liver does in the springtime is to help we say yang qi, or yang qi that warms the body. It has moved inward during the winter months. And this warming qi, we want it to start to radiate out. So as the season warms, we want the body to actually start to be able to move this yang qi back out and allow the body to cool down a little bit as the weather gets hotter. So in order to do this, we want to stimulate the function of the liver and the liver's radiating of yang qi specifically. So without getting into too much of the detail of the physiology of TCM, or how we think of this physiology in TCM, I'm just going to give you kind of a simplified version of why we selected these herbs. We started out I started out first thinking about what is the most important combination of herbs for liver health or balanced liver health overall in Chinese medicine. And we can look at basically the combination of chai hu, or blue purum root, and peony root, or bai shao. These two herbs are used together in combination all the time in TCM when it comes to liver function. So chai hu is probably the number one herb for moving liver qi in the body. It does many things, but in simple version, it helps the liver to move qi, and it helps to drain heat from the liver, inflammation in the liver. It's quite bitter, and it can be a bit drying, so it really needs to be worked in combination with bai shao. And bai shao has this beautiful ability to nourish the fluids of the liver, or the yin of the liver, and also nourish the blood, which is closely related to the liver as well. In doing so, this nourishing of the yin and blood helps to balance out some of the potentially drying effects of the chai hu. When you put these two herbs together, it really forms this beautiful energetic dynamic that helps the liver to function at its maximum. So unfortunately, those two herbs are very unpleasant to drink as a tea. So what I wanted to do was find a few herbs that could serve as substitutes for these two main herbs, have similar functions, but you could actually enjoy and drink and would work well together with a tea. So the first was with chai hu. I selected mint, bohe in Chinese. Forgive my Chinese pronunciation for you Chinese speakers. But mint essentially has very similar function to chai hu. It helps to move the liver qi, of course not as strongly, but it has this similar function. But mint is obviously a lot more pleasant to drink, and is quite enjoyable to drink, and also pairs really well with tea, and green tea in particular. As far as bai shao is concerned, we wanted to use something that could also nourish the blood and the yin of the liver, but was also enjoyable to drink. So I selected gochitsa, or goji berries. This also nourishes the liver yin, nourishes blood, and combines well with mint. So by putting mint and goji berries together, we actually bring together two herbs that have a similar function and similar balancing function as chai hu and bai xiao. So both of these herbs obviously are a lot more pleasant to drink, and they really pair well together. So both function and flavor is there with this pair. I added the juhua, the chrysanthemum flowers, because juhua, the chrysanthemum, has a very similar effect to mint, actually, and helps the liver to radiate yang qi. So this, because mint is quite mild in its effect, we wanted to boost this radiating effect a little bit by adding in the chrysanthemum. So when you put them together, you get an enhanced effect of circulating liver qi. Chrysanthemum's been used forever for addressing eye redness, often connected to the liver, and also to relieve irritability. So we have both the white and yellow. The yellow, they say, is a little bit more for clearing heat and a little bit more of clearing wind, whereas the white chrysanthemum is a little more nourishing to the liver. So these two chrysanthemums, again, this is subtle, but when you put them together, they're a nice pair. So the mint and the two types of chrysanthemum really pair well. They have somewhat similar functions. They're both helping the liver to radiate the yang qi and soothe the liver overall, and they combine really well with the goji berries. In fact, chrysanthemum and goji berries are a very common combination that you'll see drank a lot throughout China, just for enjoyment, used a lot in the summertime. But when you put these two together, they have this function that I'm talking about right now. So to round out the formula, I then added a little bit of qingpi, which is, you may have heard of chenpi, which is the dried orange peel. This is dried orange peel, but of the immature orange, the green orange, before it has fully ripened. So this is the springtime orange. The green peel, which is, again, as I mentioned, the immature peel, has a little bit more of what we'd say that's the springtime energy. This also moves the liver qi. So when we use the immature peel, it goes a little bit more to the liver as opposed to the mature orange peel, which goes a little more to digestion and to the spleen. So when we use the qingpi, this helps to move the liver qi as well, but it's slightly warming. So the other herbs we've been using so far are a bit cooling. And as we say in Chinese medicine, the yang qi of the spring is not as strong as the yang qi of summer, right? So things are warming up, but yet we don't want to cool the body down too much. So the qingpi is a really nice combination, a nice addition to keep the body from getting too cooled down from the mint and the chrysanthemum, but it doesn't affect the circulation. It keeps moving the liver qi. So when we add the qingpi, it also balances out some of the potential, we say, cloying effect or heavy effect of the goji berries. Goji berries for some people can be a little heavy on the stomach, and the qingpi will help to counterbalance that. So when we put all of these herbs together, essentially what we're doing is we're helping the liver to radiate the yang qi out of the body, as we mentioned, activate it for the springtime, but also to nourish the liver, not just to move it, but to nourish it, which is super important. Many conditions that arise in the springtime are said to be caused by issues that happen during the winter. For example, overexhaustion in the winter months. Too much physical activity in the winter months can exhaust the liver blood and then lead to problems like rashes and seasonal allergies in the spring. So one of the things that we do with this formula is we help to try to counterbalance some of the things we may have did wrong over the winter time. So as we move into spring, we don't run into some of those conditions. So when you take all of these herbs together, it's just a very simple formula, but very classic, actually. This is a really nicely put together formula. It's balanced. It's mild, but effective, and really quite pleasant to drink. And one of the great things of doing this project was I got to work with Wuda, which in this case allows me to do something I never can do, which is pair Chinese herbs with tea or add tea into a formula that really meshes well together. So of course Buddha took the herbs that I suggested and then tweaked the ratios, put in the perfect complementing tea with these herbs, and then really dialed in the flavor aspect and got it so that we had something that was extremely enjoyable to drink. But as I mentioned, has a lot of depth to it as far as function's concerned. So this is a good herb for the spring. It's important to drink this when you're getting into the warmer months, or as things are warming up. For all of you around the world, spring is a different time, right? So you got to use this based on your area and your weather patterns and how things are for you. Don't go by the calendar, but go by the seasons themselves. So if you're in a part of the world where it's warm all year round, yeah, you can drink this anytime. It's quite nice. So, all right, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the Dragon Rising, and I look forward to doing some more of these seasonal blends for you guys. Okay, enjoy.
Ordinarily, there's a problem with blending herbs with tea, and that the herbs and the tea feel like they're competing. It's almost like the herbs would taste better without the tea and the tea would taste better without the herbs. But of course, like all things, when it's done well, it's great, and there can be harmony. It took a lot of time for us to get the amounts right in this blend, but it really does harmonize and really is very smooth and very beautiful and delicious. It's wonderful to look at with all those amazing colors. It tastes gorgeous, and it does actually feel really great in your system, especially during the springtime as the temperature starts to rise and the world starts to come alive and change. It really is helpful and feels great. You'll be surprised at how delicious it is. We've packaged them in individual packets, so this is the right amount of everything to make the flavors and the herbal effects, according to our traditional Chinese doctor, be helpful for your body. You can brew it in a large pot because it is quite a bit. It's about 15 grams, so you'll need a larger pot. It's very patient. It can go almost all day. You just steep it like you would a green tea, and you can drink as many bowls of it throughout the day as you want. And it's sold in boxes like this with 10 individual packets. It does not come with the magazine. You have to buy it separately. If you like these seasonal herbal blends and they help you to be more happy and healthy, we will continue to make them each season and try to find the right kinds of herbs and mix them with the right kind of tea, which is actually a lot of work because, of course, we want all the herbs to be organic as they are in Dragon Rising. So we want them all to be chemical-free and healthy for the earth and for our bodies. And then to find the right tea and mix everything in the right amount is really challenging. But we had a lot of fun doing it, so we're happy to continue if this is something that you want and that you all feel like contributes to your own health and happiness. And of course, we'll know that by how many of you order it and by your feedback after you drink it. I think as far as this first one goes, after you drink it, you'll fall in love with it and you'll absolutely want to have it around, especially for the springtime, because it's so delicious and gorgeous to look at and also feels really great in the body. I hope Dragon Rising brings health and longevity to all of your lives, and that it also helps to harmonize you with the spring so that we can all live more in tune with nature and then through that with each other. I'll see you next time.